Most of your revenue comes from water-related businesses. A lot of it is helping companies use water more efficiently. Environmentally, wonderful, but economically, why should companies care any more about that today than they ever did?
I think there's a couple of reasons. One is that economically, just the drive to drive more productivity, the need for more productivity to be competitive. But I think there's also a shift in the desire to be more environmentally sustainable, just by the environment being more of a topic of discussion, but also the industrial growth, the greatest growth that's going on in the world now, China, India, the Middle East, and parts of the world that are very water-starved. So they've got these big water issues. Their industrial growth is very rapid. These industries require a lot of water. So if you don't use that water very efficiently, there won't be enough water for people to drink. So the opportunity for us to help these companies develop their industries in these fast-growing areas and use a lot less water is a very big opportunity, and I think very important.
What are some examples of how water gets used in large quantities in businesses?
Well, every manufacturing facility or large building brings in water and typically uses it for their cooling system, their heating system. In industrial applications, there's often a large need for cooling and heating for that industrial plant site. Then there's processed water that could be used actually in making products. And then, of course, all that water gets collected in a waste and goes through a wastewater treatment system to take out all the bad actors before it either gets recycled back or effluent into a river or other area.
What you find typically, I gather, is that a lot of businesses, even though they use a lot of water, are using it somewhat inefficiently. How come?
Because it's never been a focus. You know, it's always been we operate the plant and water is kind of a given. I think now what you're seeing is CEOs of more and more companies are saying environmental sustainability is an important imperative for us to be able to operate continuously in the future. And also we want to be environmental good stewards and we want to do it economically. So it's now become corporate objective in many companies to use less water, use less energy, and that's where we can help. And so then it cascades down to their manufacturing sites. How much water do you use? How much energy do you use? And what can you do to use less per product produced?
I've got to figure that part of this is that water hasn't been priced realistically. Certainly plenty of people, a lot of them in the U.S., think of water as free or practically free.
Yeah.
I've got to figure that's not a long-term sustainable situation, right?
Yes, and it happens all over the world too. Western Europe and the United States and Canada are actually at the higher end of how water is priced. China, India, the Middle East, a number of spots in the Middle East, it's priced very low, even though people can't get enough. So what happens then is you create a lot of inefficiency. A lot of water is lost. People don't take care of the water systems. But the industry then, if they can't get enough water, can't operate their plants.
I've got to figure that we need to expect to be paying higher prices for water. Is that long-term what's going to happen?
Yes, I think that's going to happen, and it's going to happen around the world. Because that's the only way that you can really get the right dynamic of conservation across industry and the consumer use, and, by the way, agriculture use, which is a huge user of water.
Huge, and globally much larger even than business
industry,
use.
Yeah.
Right.
70% of the fresh water consumed around the world is in agriculture.